we have Sanjeev Sanyal, who's from the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council. Very privileged to have you with us. I'm going to make this a session of everything you wanted to ask about GST, but were afraid to ask. So after 5 minutes, I will also open the phone lines. Okay. Sanjeev, straight to the point. This is aimed at kickstarting spending. What's the guarantee that it will? Over the last few months, people have become so cautious about everything. You know, when I meet people in FMCG companies, they say people are not spending anymore. What's the guarantee this will be the stimulus for the consumer?
So Arnab, let me be clear that this is not at the first instance an attempt to kickstart consumption in the economy. As you know, for the first quarter, we actually grew at 7.8%. This is not an economy where you want to pour more spending in there as the first intention. The real intention is a different one. You see, we introduced GST in 2017. When we introduced it, we were focused on doing the transition because we are taking an extremely complicated indirect tax system and moving it to a GST system, a very delicate task. But during the transition, we did something, which was we basically took all the tax rates and shifted them to the nearest bucket that there was. Now, this meant that there was no first principle look at why some item was in some box. So you ended up with anomalies, for example, that cement, which is commonly used for various things, ended up in 28% bracket. Why? Because it just happened to be where it was before. So the net result of that was we did the transition, but with all the pieces of it in somewhat inefficient places. Now, of course, then we had to stabilize it. Then we went through COVID. We then didn't want to disturb the system as we came out of the COVID pandemic. But this is a good time where we can again relook at it and essentially change all the pieces so that they now correlate to the correct level. So now all the food is at the lowest level at 5%. All the other stuff is at 18%. The number of slabs has been reduced. In addition to this, there is something else that has been done which hasn't got as much attention, which is not to do with the slabs, but the fact that we have also radically simplified all the registration and other process that we had related to GST. One of the problems that happened is that over time, the tax inspector Raj had crept back in and it became difficult to get registration. So now we have got a new system which at least for 97% of the cases is going to mean that you will get the registration within 3 days. The refunds and other things will also happen faster. So our main intention is not kickstarting spending. If it happens, great, but really making the whole system much more efficient, because in the end, the purpose is to get the economic growth going at a high level, at a sustained basis. If that happens, the consumption will also happen. But the real impact is really on having a super efficient tax system for India.